stars of the Orion Arm stretched like silver dust across the dark. The alien cruiser Zereth's Pride moved quietly through the void, its dark blue hull reflecting the faint light. Inside, the crew of the Zereth Empire laughed and talked. Confident in their mission, Captain Dravos sat in his high chair at the bridge, his 4 golden eyes scanning the holographic map. A red line glowed on the screen, the border of human space. "Sir, we are about to cross into restricted territory," said the young navigator. Dravos grinned, his fangs catching the light. "Restricted to them, not to us. Humans are weak. Their space is empty. We pass through, we take what we want, and we leave." The crew chuckled. For years, the stories of humans had been told in whispers. Strange creatures from a small blue world, barely a blip in galactic history. But to the Zereth, those stories were nothing but primitive legends. The ship crossed the red line. For a few seconds, nothing happened. The bridge crew relaxed. Then, the comms crackled. A voice, low and cold, slid into the room. "You have entered human space? Turn around now." The crew froze. Dravos narrowed his eyes. "Identify yourself." No answer. "Show me the source of that signal," he ordered. The sensor officer's claws danced over the console. His crest flattened. "Sir, there's nothing. The signal is coming from everywhere." The comms went silent again. Dravos smirked. "A bluff. Keep going." The Zereth's Pride pushed deeper into the black. The hum of the engines filled the silence. But then, the hum was joined by another sound. A faint thunk, then another. The navigator's hands trembled. Impact on the outer hull. Small. No damage. "Probably space debris," Dravos said, though his voice had lost some of its edge. The lights flickered. The holographic map glitched. "Sir," the sensor officer whispered. "Multiple objects approaching. No life signs. No transponders. They're cold." The bridge darkened as the ship's power dipped. Through the forward viewport, shapes emerged from the darkness. Black, sharp, and silent. No running lights, no heat signatures, just shadow against shadow. They moved like predators. "Shields. Up, ready weapons," Dravos barked. The crew scrambled. Plasma turrets rotated. Missile bays opened. The comms crackled again. "Turn around. This is your only chance." Dravos slammed a clawed hand on the armrest. "Humans think they can threaten me? Fire a warning shot." One of the escort frigates fired a plasma bolt into the dark. The bright blue light flashed, and then vanished. The human ships moved. No thrusters, no visible weapons. They simply shifted position, one moment in front, and next beside the escort ship. And then, with no light, no sound, the escort ship split in half. A massive shockwave rattled the Zereth's Pride. Sirens screamed. The bridge crew stared in horror as the broken escort drifted, spilling burning debris into the void. "Sir, I can't track them," the sensor officer shouted. They're... Another thunk echoed through the hull. This one was heavier. The comms came alive one last time. "Leave now, or none of you will leave at all." The bridge went silent. The crew's earlier laughter was gone. Even Dravos, who had mocked the humans minutes ago, sat frozen, staring at the black shapes drifting just outside. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before in space. Fear. The bridge of the Zereths. Pride was silent except for the steady hum of life support and the sharp breaths of the crew. Outside, the black ships hung in the void like shadows given shape. Number. Light touched them. No heat escaped them. "Sir," the weapons officer whispered, "they're not transmitting. No ID, no movement." Dravos forced a smile, though his fangs no longer shone with confidence. "Then they are nothing but ghosts. Prepare to fire." Before he could finish, the Black shapes began to move. Not fast. Not sudden. Slow. Careful. Like predators circling prey they had already trapped. The cones came alive again. This is your final warning. Leave human space. Dravos growled, forcing strength into his voice. We will not be ordered by savages. Open fire. The weapons bay roared to life. Plasma bolts tore into the darkness, bright blue fire cutting through the void. But the shadows split apart, sliding effortlessly between the blasts. Not one hit landed. Then, without warning, the human ships were gone from the sensors. Completely. They vanished. The sensor officer cried. I have no readings. Wait. Zereth's pride shook violently. A deep metallic scrape rang through the hall. Impact? Dravos barked. The officer shook his head, pale. No breach, but something touched us. Before anyone could respond, a smaller alien escort ship beside them shuddered. The crew on the bridge watched in horror as its lights flickered out, and its entire rear section imploded in total silence. Dravos clenched his claws. How? What weapon does that? The navigator swallowed. Sir, I don't think they're using weapons. What do you mean? They're inside our systems. It's surgical, like they know exactly where to strike. The crew's fear deepened. The idea of an enemy that didn't just shoot, but took apart ships from the inside, was something none of them had trained for. Suddenly, a new signal came through. This time, it wasn't just sound. A holographic projection flickered to life. In the center of the bridge, a human stood there, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark uniform that looked centuries old. His face was calm, unreadable. Behind him, the shadows of other soldiers waited, their eyes hidden. This is Captain Reeve of the 3rd Black Fleet. The human said, his voice quiet but heavy. Your presence here is a violation. You were told to leave. Dravos lifted his chin. We are not afraid of you. Reeve didn't blink. Fear is irrelevant. This is about survival. Yours. The projection vanished. Instantly, the black ships reappeared, this time right in front of the Zereth's Pride, only meters away. Their hulls were matte and scarred, marked with strange symbols that looked older than any galactic language. Ship tilted slightly, and a series of panels along its side opened. But there were no cannons, no missiles, only darkness. Then, a pulse dot. It wasn't light. It wasn't sound. It was absence. Every screen on the Zereth's Pride went black. Every console died. The ship drifted powerless. The crew panicked. Engines offline. Weapons offline. Life support stable for now. In the silence, the cones crackled once more. We don't give second warnings. The black ships began to drift closer. And every alien on board knew this was no bluff. The Zereth's Pride drifted in the dark, powerless. The hum of the engines was gone, replaced by the hollow echo of the crew's breathing. Captain Dravos gripped the armrests of his chair so hard his claws left marks. Get power back, now. The engineering officer's voice shook. Sir, it's not a fault. It's like the systems are locked from the outside. Every command is being blocked before it even reaches the engines. How? Dravos snarled. They're inside our systems, the officer whispered. Like they've been here for hours. On the viewport, the black human ships hung motionless. They didn't need to move. They had already won. Navigator, plot a course out of human space. Dravos ordered. The navigator's crest twitched nervously. Course plotted? But, sir, do it. The ship shuddered as the engines flared for a moment, then died again. The sensor officer looked up, eyes wide. Sir, they've sealed every route. They've placed something mines, traps, across every escape vector. Dravos stared. How many? All of them. The realization hit the crew like a cold wave. There was no way out. The comms came alive again. You have crossed into a place that does not forgive. Leave your weapons, and you may live. Dravos leaned forward. If we give up our weapons, they will destroy us. The first mate hesitated. Sir, they could have destroyed us already. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew it was true. The humans had the power to end them in seconds. But they hadn't. Not yet. Dravos made a decision. Prepare weapons. Full barrage. We break through one of the traps and escape. The crew obeyed, fear mixing with desperation. Fire! Dozens of plasma bolts lit the void, tearing toward one of the human ships. But before the bolts could hit, the ship simply vanished. The bolts kept going, exploding harmlessly and empty. Space. Then a black shape appeared directly above the Zereth's Pride. There was no light, no warning. Just a slow, steady descent until it blocked the entire view of the stars. The hull groaned as the alien ship systems started shutting down, one by one navigation, targeting communications until the bridge was left in near darkness. Comms crackled again. Last chance. Dravos's heart pounded. His pride told him to fight. His survival instinct told him to listen. The humans were not simply defending their space. They were playing with their prey, testing them, waiting for the moment to strike. The crew looked to their captain, waiting for his choice. And Dravos realized something terrible. The humans didn't have to destroy them. They could keep them here. Forever. The Zereth's Pride floated like a trapped animal in the endless dark. Every escape route was blocked, every system under human control. On the bridge, the crew whispered in low voices, afraid to speak too loud, as if the humans could hear every word. Sir, the sensor officer's voice broke the silence. There's movement inside the ship. Dravos turned sharply. Inside? From where? The officer's claws tapped nervously on the console. I don't know. No airlock. Breaches, no hull damage. But something is moving fast. The engineering officer's frill twitched. That's impossible. No one can get in without. A sharp clang echoed through the ship. Everyone froze. Then another sound, metal on metal, like footsteps, but too heavy, too slow, too deliberate. They're here. The first mate whispered. Dravos barked. Security teams. Find them. 2 squads moved out into the corridors. The bridge crew watched their helmet feeds on the main screen. The squad split up, moving through the dimly lit halls, weapons ready. One squad found nothing but empty corridors. The other squad wasn't so lucky. Static filled their feed for a second. Then it came back showing a dark shape at the far end of the hall. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. It just stood there, watching. Identify yourself. One soldier shouted. The figure stepped forward. The video glitched. When it cleared, the corridor was empty again. The soldiers turned, weapons sweeping. Something moved behind them. The feed went black. The bridge crew stared at the dead screen in silence. They're taking our people, the first mate said, his voice low. The comms came alive once more, the human voice calm, almost polite. Your weapons are gone. Your soldiers are gone. You have nothing left. The weapons officer's eyes widened. Sir, the armory is empty. What? Dravos barked. I just checked the internal inventory. Every rifle, every sidearm, every blade. Gone. How? No one answered. The human ships outside didn't move. They didn't need to. The Zereth's Pride was theirs now, body and soul. A crew member in the corner began whispering, We're already dead. They're just letting us breathe. Dravos slammed a claw on the armrest. Enough. I will speak to their leader. The comms clicked. He's waiting, the human voice said. For the first time in his career, Captain Dravos felt something worse than fear. He felt like prey. The bridge of the Zereth's Pride was dim. lit only by the glow of emergency lights. Every crew member's eyes were fixed on the forward screen, waiting for the humans to answer. The comms hissed. Then a figure appeared. It was the same human they had seen before, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark, old-style uniform with no rank insignia. His face was calm, almost expressionless, but his eyes were like cold steel. "This is Captain Reeve of the 3rd Black Fleet," he said, his voice low but clear. "You have violated human space." Dravos tried to keep his voice steady. "We did not come here for war." Reeve's gaze didn't change. "War is what you will get if you take one more step." The bridge was silent. Even the sound of the life support felt too loud. "We did not know your border was so strict," Dravos said, forcing a smile. "Surely we can." Reeve cut him off. "Every ship that enters without permission does not leave. You are speaking to me only because I chose to give you this moment." The first mate whispered to Dravos, "He's telling the truth." "Sir, they've been here all along." Reeve continued, "You think this space is empty, but the void is never empty. We watch every shadow. We hear every signal. Your kind believes in strength through numbers. We believe in strength through precision. That is why you will never defeat us." Dravos narrowed his eyes. "If you are so powerful, why let us live?" The corner of Reeve's mouth twitched, not a smile, not quite. "Because dead men can't deliver a message." "What message?" Reeve leaned forward slightly. "Tell your leaders, one step into human space can be your last." The screen flickered, and the human commander was gone. Before anyone could react, the black ships outside began to move, not rushing away, but drifting slowly until they surrounded the Zereth's Pride. A path opened in the circle. "They're letting us go," the navigator said softly. Dravo hesitated. His pride told him to stay. His instincts screamed to flee. "Plot the course. Get us out," he said at last. The engines came to life. For the first time in hours, the ship moved under its own power. They passed through the gap, leaving the black ships behind. But as they crossed back into neutral space, a final signal reached the bridge. A whisper. The Zereth's Pride limped through the void, its crew still shaken from the encounter. Outside, human space, the stars felt brighter, freer. But the fear hadn't faded. Captain Dravos sat in silence, staring at the main display. Every so often, his eyes drifted to the rear sensors, half expecting the black ships to follow. "They're gone, sir," the navigator said. "No contacts, no signals." Dravos didn't reply. Something in his gut told him this wasn't over. Hours passed. The crew began to relax. Some even laughed nervously, as if the worst was behind them. But their relief didn't last. The sensors pinged. "Contact 3 ships, incoming fast." The sensor officer called out, "Not human. Alien signatures." "Pirate class." The bridge crew cursed. Pirates hunted crippled ships like predators after wounded prey. The pirate ships closed in, their comms blaring with taunts. "Zereth vessel, drop your cargo and surrender, or be destroyed." Dravos clenched his jaw. "All weapons offline. We can't fight." The pirates began firing warning shots, plasma bolts streaking past the Zereth's Pride. The hull shuddered under the near misses. "Sir, they're locking weapons," the weapons officer said. Before Dravos could respond, the pirate ships exploded into chaos. One moment, they were there. The next, black shapes appeared around them, silent, invisible until now. The human ships, the pirates didn't even get to fire. In seconds, their vessels were torn apart, drifting wreckage scattering into the void. A familiar voice came over. "The Zereth's Pride comes. We protect what's in our space. Sometimes we protect what's leaving it, too." Dravos swallowed. "Why?" Captain Reeves' tone didn't change. Because fear travels farther when it's carried by. Survivors. The black ships vanished just as quickly as they had appeared, leaving no trace behind. The bridge was silent. The crew didn't know whether to feel relieved or more afraid than ever. Dravos leaned back in his chair, realizing something dreadful. He wasn't sure if they had truly left human space at all. Weeks later, the Zereth's Pride docked at a neutral station on the edge of Zereth territory. The crew stepped off the ship like men walking out of a nightmare alive, but forever changed. They spoke little to outsiders, but word still spread. Stories have a way of slipping through locked doors and guarded tongues. At first, the tailies were vague, black ships in the void, invisible until they strike, a voice that speaks once, then never again. But as the days passed, the story grew. Every spacer, smuggler, and trader in the Orion Arm whispered it in dim-lit bars and smoky cargo holds. One step into human space can be your last. Some laughed at the idea, calling it a ghost story to scare new pilots. Others swore it was true, backing their words with shaky hands and haunted eyes. Captain Dravos sat in a private booth at one such station, a glass of bitter drink in his hand. Across from him, a younger captain leaned in eagerly. "Tell me," the young one said, "is it true? Are they really that dangerous?" Dravos didn't answer right away. His gaze drifted to the viewport, where the stars shone like cold fire. He thought of the black ships, the calm voice of Captain Reeve, the feeling of being prey in a predator's den. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. "They are not dangerous," he said. "They are certain, and there is no weapon against certainty." The young captain frowned, not understanding. Dravos leaned closer. "If you value your ship, your crew, your life, you will never test them. The humans watch, always." At another table, a grizzled freighter pilot overheard and added his own warning. "I've flown every sector," the old pilot said, "but I've never once crossed their border. Not because I can't, because I know I won't come back." The young captain forced a laugh, but his eyes darted to the stars beyond the station's glass walls. Even those who didn't believe found themselves glancing into the void more often after hearing the story. And far away, in the cold emptiness of space, a fleet of black ships drifted silently among the stars. No lights, no heat, no signal. Just shadows in the dark. Waiting. Watching. Protecting the one law every spacer now knew by heart. One step into human space can be your last.